spearheaded Rotary projects on 5 continents, including school supplies, children's books, bicycles, medical equipment, goats, water buffalo, sewing machines, malaria prevention, drinking water, and ambulances. Today, Lon will be sharing with us ideas for helping our local school. Let's please welcome Lon.
I'd like to be here, if it's portable. Thank you very much for having me, and I want to thank Randall Hogue for coming on short notice. So this presentation will end up on YouTube, and because of that, I want to tell everybody that today is November 3rd, 2016. We are at a meeting of the Schenectady Rotary Club. Because it'll be on YouTube, I thought I'd add a few slides at the beginning to say what Rotary is. There's 1.2 million of us in 200 countries, all nationalities, all races, all religions. We're united by the desire to improve ourselves, our community, and our world. We meet once a week for a meal, for a presentation, and for fellowship. So that's what we're doing right now. This is a meeting of the Schenectady Rotary. One of our programs is exchange students. We have an exchange student with us here today. Just came back from Brazil. And let me tell you that when those of you who are watching this, if you ever have a student who's a teenager, contact the Rotary Club to find out about the exchange program. It will be transformational. Not only will they learn the language, it will be transformational. Visitors are always welcome to Rotary Clubs. This club meets at the Stockade Inn on Thursdays at noon. And I feel the only criteria for membership, if you want to join the club, is integrity. And here's a picture of my wife and a Rotary project in Pakistan. We're providing sewing machines. When my wife heard me practice this presentation, her one objection is I didn't acknowledge her. So I had so I threw some slides in here. This is a joint project. My wife is a Rotarian. This is her on her own project in China. She did this one without me. And now for today's presentation, it's about adopting a classroom. Our club, this was by the Niskayuna Rotary Club, we're small, we only have 9 members. We sit around one table as opposed to the many tables here today. Rotary clubs have traditionally done a dictionary project. We hand out dictionaries to 3rd graders, and Niskayuna Rotary has traditionally gone to these 3 schools. You may recognize these are not Niskayuna schools. Niskayuna is a wealthy neighborhood, wealthy school district. We go to the Schenectady schools instead, Martin Luther King, Yates, and Lincoln. Why Schenectady? Because Schenectady High School is called the Dropout Factory, as is Albany, Schenectady, and, I'm sorry to tell you this, 1,000 other high schools in the United States have enormous dropout rates. And why should we care? Well, dropouts commit 75% of crime, so it's to our best. We have a selfish interest to try to improve our schools and improve the situation. Volunteering in the schools, I noticed a few differences between the inner city schools. They don't have buses. Kindergartners have to walk a mile in all weather. My kids were picked up at the end of the driveway. They're poor, they're all on free breakfast and lunch. One of the 3rd grades, 1/3 of the children in the class had either 1 or 2 parents that were incarcerated. I don't have much of that in my school district. And the number one thing that's different is low expectations from the parents. That's the number one predictor, the experts tell me, of a child's success is the expectations from the parents. But I'll tell you, working with the kids, they are smart, they are inquisitive, they are delightful. If you visit the school, you'll fall in love with them. They're anxious for learning. So how did this project get started? Well, I ran out of dictionaries, so I had to come back. I had to go back, and as my wife and I delivered the extra dictionaries, we said, is there any other way we can help? And they said, well, the teacher said, my pencil sharpener is broken. Oh, that's a great Rotary project, right? So we fixed the pencil, and we said, is there anything else you could use? He said, well, we could use some computers. Well, here's computers provided through the computerrehab.org. That's a good thing to know. You can get computers for $9 refurbished from computerrehab.org here, yeah. And so we got these laptops for $9. We got the headsets for $13, and we bought a subscription to Some Dog, $6 a child.
What school is this?
This is Lincoln School in Schenectady. And it all started because we ran out of dictionaries. This girl, Jamaica, she tugged on my sleeve and said, "Can I have one for my house?" Well, I didn't know. Can I give it to individuals? The teacher said, "Okay, well, if you give it to one, you got to do the whole class." So I talked to GE and said, "Can I have 35 computers to give out to the students?" They said, "Yes." As far as we're concerned, we're giving these computers to Rotary. You guys are doing good things with them. Have at it. So this is in her home, and we provided computers to people's homes. I mentioned the SumDog software. SumDog is the type of software where you answer a math question, or reading question, or writing question, and your race car goes faster. The kids love it. I learned about it from my two granddaughters. When they came on vacation, they were playing this game. That's their free time. This is something they love to do. With the subscription, and this part is free. You can go to sumdog.com, might be sumdog.org, I forget which, and you can play these games. Your kids will love it. Your kids will advance in school. With the subscription now, the teachers can go in and modify it to be specific to what they're teaching. They can say, okay, this week I want questions on multiplication tables. This week I want fractions. This week I want prepositional phrases. And it also gives the reports for the teachers with the subscriptions. So you can see that a lot of these kids are in the 80s and 90%. And this always astounds me. One of the reports is how many questions did they answer in the last 7 days? 1,000 questions? The slackers answered 100 to 200. The kids love it. They love playing it. The teacher would use it as a reward. Finish your worksheet and you go play some dog. It made a big difference. One week we competed with other school districts, and one day we beat the Burnt Hill schools. And at the end of the year, as it's keeping track of how well they're answering Common Core questions, these 3rd and 4th graders were answering 5th, 6th, and even 8th grade level questions. So I consider that a great success. That school is no longer in receivership. It was in receivership when we started. We were only working with 3 classrooms, so we can't take credit. And I tell you, the teachers there are excellent. There's nothing wrong with the teachers. So this year, Niskayuna is adopting the whole school. We're buying SumDog. It's cheaper, $4.50 a student if you do the whole school. It's $3 if you do the whole district, but that's 30 grand for 10,000 kids. But anyway, we bought it for the whole school. As I said, the kids are smart. They're inquisitive. While we're there, they're asking us questions. Could you come and do a lecture about different topics? How do planes fly? What are germs? So we started visiting every other week on Tuesday morning and teaching lessons. Here's Mr. Don in front of the classroom. Mr. Don used to work in a museum, so he used to have a lot of science experiments and activities for the kids. Here's Bernoulli principle. Fast moving air is what causes a plane to rise. Here's Mr. Don with one of the experience projects with the kids. We all built foam rockets. One of the presentations was on germs. And so I showed them a close-up of the skin, and the kids all go, as they look at this fingerprint, they go, ooh. I said, well, that's nothing. But if you look with an electron microscope, you'll see all the germs living on you. I said, underneath your thumb, there's 100,000 things living on you that are not you. You are the ultimate food court with your sweat and your skin cells coming off. And then I showed them this video. I'll see if it'll play. I said, this is what's going on inside your body right now. This is a white blood cell chasing a bacteria. This is a white blood cell chasing a bacteria. The other things are round. The round ones are red blood cells. What's nice is there's so much great stuff out on the internet that you can show the kids, and there it caught the bacteria. And I said, that's why when you get cut, that's why it gets infected if you don't take care of it. And we taught them about taking care of a cut, putting on cream. I said, it occurred to us, gee, do these kids have this stuff? You know, how to put on a Band-Aid, but do they have it? So we asked Hannaford if they could help out, and they gave us $300 worth of cream and Band-Aids. We needed $500 worth, so we put in a couple hundred of our own. And we tell the kid, we make an impression. Remember I said the #1 predictor of a child's success is what's expected of them, and what they expect of themselves. So we want them to know how smart they are. And what I'll do is I'll have them all close their eyes, and I walk around the room and I say, point at me. And as I move around the room, they're all pointing at me. And I said, okay, open up your eyes. How did you know I was here? They said, we heard it. I said, well, the sound that my voice hit this ear thousandths of a second before it hit that ear. Your brain is processing information really fast. And there's over 500 million signals going from your eyes to your brain every second, just like a computer. It's like ons and offs. It's all going in. Your brain has to take all that information and put it together so that you can see. Your brains are like computers. Don't ever think you're not smart enough. Don't anyone ever tell you you're dumb. Your brains are like computers. Here's Mr. Don being Dr. Seuss, and he picked the book, All the Places You'll Go, because of the message, you have brains in your head and feet in your shoes, and you can steer yourself in any direction you choose. This is the important message, not necessarily what we teach them. Now, Dave Hitchcock, our club president, was there, and he's working with a child and asking, okay, read the sentence, and the kid's not getting it. Then he realized the kid needed glasses. So one of our members happens to be an eye doctor, and the community teacher, resource teacher, she asked me for $100 of supplies. So I go, what do? I go to my club and say, can I have $100? But they said no, because Chris Trowis, a Glenville Rotarian visiting, he said, I can provide the pencil sharpener. John Eaton, a visiting Rotarian from Scotia Rotary, he said, oh, I can provide the folders. Tracy Robbins, who was just a visitor, who later became a Rotarian, said, well, I can provide the large envelopes. So here's the teacher, resource teacher, giving the thumbs up. She got what she wanted. That's the beauty of being a Rotarian. For our poverty project, every year, last year we were all asked to do a poverty project. We provided 1,000 books. I knew a club near Washington, D.C. whose project it is. I once called Steve and said, could you send a container of books to Africa? And he did. Didn't cost me anything, just a phone call. I said, so I called him. I said, will you send them to the U.S. too? He said, sure. He sent us 800 books, and we procured the other 200. And this is what we put on all the books. A gift for you from Schenectady Rotary. Pay it forward by making service a part of your life. Just yesterday, I got a call from the teacher saying, could you provide that book? And, could you provide that book? And sure, she'll have them on Friday. She wanted 8, she's got a literacy night coming up. She wanted 18 copies. Not a problem. Now these are my 2 granddaughters. These are the ones who told me about Some Dog, as I mentioned. So, as I took them to the school and I told all the kids, you know how you love playing Some Dog? These are the ones who told me about it. So I took them to the school, and as we're leaving, this one, the younger one, the 10-year-old said, you know, Grandpa, these kids need to go on a field trip. I'll donate $100 so that these kids can go on a field trip. That's a year's allowance for this $2 a week allowance cake. That's a big donation. And the other one, of course, said, me too. So now I had $200, I had to take them somewhere. And another Rotarian was very heavily involved in my side of this museum, putting in the Challenger Learning Center. So that would be a perfect place to bring them. It cost $1,300, $300 for the bus, which I got a grant for, and we had to raise another $1,000. And a couple of other Rotarians chipped in, and we were able to take them there. So here are the kids at the Challenger Learning Center. At these different booths, they're out there supposedly on the International Space Center. They've got activities to do. Things don't work. A little frustrating, but and what they have got to do is figure out why. And they talk to Mission Control, and Mission Control will say, try changing out this part, and they solve problems. It's a great activity. And I can remember when the Schenectady Rotarian, Norm Miller, said he was trying to raise $3 million for this thing. I thought, a little nuts. But he did it. And now we're able to take advantage of it and bring our Schenectady kids there. Let's see. It was at SAC TV where I met Bethany Gagne. And she had told me about this anti-bullying program, and we brought it to the school. Now, when I was in the school, I would see kids sometimes come back from recess and they'd kick the garbage pail across the room because they were upset about something or other. I'd see where they're in a temper tantrum kind of rage. I didn't see this one, but one boy had to finally leave because he would punch the teachers, including the principal, in the face. Not good for a school environment. But she brought in this program, and I can tell you that this is Bethany, that it's working. The bullying and misbehaving is way down. and they're going to continue it again this next year. I was very glad to hear. And Rotarians were the ones who told them about that program, so Rotary gets a little bit of credit in putting that together. When I spoke to Delmar Rotary, they asked for some computers, and we put them in a Rensselaer school. And this was a thank you note I got from one of the kids, and I thought it was meaningful what he said at the bottom. He said, he put a little footnote, why do adults think parents are dumb when it's the adults that start wars? Food for thought. So, if you enjoy a life of meeting, and I've got 6 more minutes, now I want to tell you ways that we all, as individuals and as organizations, as churches, as businesses, can help save our schools with little money, with little time. One is donorschoose.org. So here's a teacher who's looking to get $500. What does she want? Pencil sharpener, crayons, notebook, folders, markers, pens, and folders. You go on the website, you give $10. She's on her way. Here's one seeking a carpet. These are recent. That's Martin Luther King. That's one of the schools we visit with the dictionaries. Somebody wanted a projector. Somebody wants books. Very easy. You could do it as a club. You could say, okay, how about every quarter we'll go on and we'll pick a teacher and we'll get them something they need. Pick Schenectady schools, or if you're watching anywhere, just put go there and look for your city and support your teachers. Sponsor a scholar. Another Rotarian was very heavily involved in this project. And I came to recently appreciate what it means. This community Rotary, we've always been giving a $1,000 scholarship, and we still do, to some child who we really didn't change their life. Maybe made it a little bit easier, but they were probably college bound anyway. Sponsor a scholar takes care of a child who probably might not have even finished high school, but now we provide, we help them through high school, which is a big step. Even if we only get that far, it's great, and then through college. It targets the lost children. It encourages them high school graduation. It encourages college graduation. Here's an RIT graduate saying, it has been great to me. But wait a minute. I didn't tell you it costs 10 grand to adopt a kid. So, okay, now all you're thinking, well, we can't do this. Well, it turns out Schenectady Foundation is chipping in half. And I just found out yesterday that they're almost out of money. There's not much left. So if we have an Albany Rotarian here today, if you two clubs each wanted to chip in $500 a year for the next 5 years, that's a $2,500 commitment. You together can adopt a student. It will change somebody's life. Transformational. Niskayuna Rotary, we're doing one. We're doing a student. We've committed. We've signed the pledge letter for $1,000 a year. We will be getting that student. It's assigned to us. And we also pick a mentor. Well, let's see, where does the money go? The money gives tutoring to the kids in the school. It gives, if they need a graphing calculator, it pays for the $100 application fee to apply to a college. It pays to take them to the college when they do their college visits. And when they're in college, it pays them $750 per semester finished. But the best thing is they would get assigned to your club. They would be here just like we have our exchange student here today. They would be in your midst every month, every quarter, and they would learn from you how to succeed in life. And that is what will make them succeed. That's more important than the money, I think, to adopt a scholar. We've got a second scholar, 3 clubs chipped in. Scotia, Schenectady, and Niskayuna, we're doing a second scholar, and they're challenging, so we're happy that another student, 2 students will be served, and I'm asking Albany and Schenectady to maybe think about chipping in and getting a 3rd one. Yeah, the #1 reason kids drop out is low expectations. Schenectady Rotary can be that adult that expects them to succeed. Quickly, 3 other ways. This is only for folks in Schenectady, but Almag has started Reading is Fun. So here's a way you could give of your time. An hour a week, you'd be assigned to, say, go to Lincoln School at 3 o'clock at their after-school program, and you work with a kid for an hour. How hard is that? Here's another one. This is only in the summer, but this woman started a summer reading program. So when her program starts up again, in the summer, each one reach one, you can volunteer for an hour. She also asked for a computer. There's one with our Niskayuna sticker on it. And the last suggestion is Rotary Scout Reservation. This is not really the schools, but another aspect of youth to succeed is integrity. Scouting does that. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, reverent. A $350 campership will send a child to summer camp. or the council might split it to give half of that to 2 kids. It's a beautiful camp. A bunch of Rotarians visited there in July. There's my wife and I with my grandson and some other Rotarians you might recognize. Started by Rotarians in 1922. Exchange students. When this fellow came from Japan last year, he was worried he'd be shot. Why? He sees television in Japan and it shows all the school shootings. It was very brave of him to come. And one of the students in Niskayuna High School came up to him. He was from China, also an exchange student. He said, "I have hated the Japanese all my life until I met you." That's what the exchange program is about. I'm sure that when, I'm forgetting your name. Adam, when you came, I'm sure that kids in Brazil hate Americans, and I'm sure he helped change that opinion. Plus he knows Portuguese. So here's the summary. I talked about if you wanted to give a little bit of money, donors choose, sponsor a scholar, campership. If you want to give some time, Al Magid's reading is fun, or summer reading. And then of course there's the Rotary programs, exchange students, RILA, Interact, Rotary Act. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens, and that's the Schenectady Rotarians in this room, can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Thank you very much. And I finished on time, I can't believe it. It was a half-hour presentation, I did it in 15 minutes.
You did a great job. Great.
Yes?
Are therapy dogs used in the reading programs?
Are they what?
Are therapy dogs used in the reading program?
Not that I know. When I gave this presentation to Scotia, one Rotarian came up and said, "Oh, I could give a talk on," and I forget now what his topic was. But of course, all of you are willing, if any of you are willing to come, because we're going there every other week, and you can talk about your business, how you got there. And the message is always the same, because I paid attention in school. And that's how I got there. I learned how to read, and I paid attention in school. So you all have that message you could share. Yes?
What's the grade level that Some Dog starts at?
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten through 6th grade for some of the, like maybe the math is, or maybe the reading is through 6th and the math is through 8th. A little bit of variation on the upper level.
I just want to say that what I got out of this presentation is so often we start something and say, well, we can't do that because of this and this regulation and that rule and this paperwork, and you just made it seem so easy. You saw a need, hey, let's take care of it. We can do it with Rotary, you know?
That's right.
Sounds like there's a joke there somewhere. We can do it, we're Rotary, you know?
That's right, and Rotary gives us the ideas,
Yeah.
it gives us the funding, it gives us the people to get amazing things done. And before Rotary, what could we do? You read something in the paper that you don't like and say, somebody ought to do something about that. You join Rotary and now you're somebody who can do something about it.
Well, it's inspiring, thank you.
It must be said, though, that Lon, you're a remarkable person.
Yes.
You're a remarkable
Thank you,
Rotarian. You people like yourself and Brian, just remarkable, and others, just you're the catalyst for a lot of this stuff happening. So thank really for inspiration.
Lon, there's a number of us who already work with the school district. Matter of fact, we've got 3 of us, Judy, Sarah, and Pat Marney, who work on the Schenectady School District Educational Foundation. And doing a lot of the same thing in partnering. So we'd probably like to talk to you afterwards, and maybe we can partner up for these projects, okay?
Hallelujah. Yeah, the contacts are important, and I'd love to have more ideas, you know, from people who are in the business on what's the right thing to do. I've got a list of 50 things I'd love to do. This is off the wall, but I think if I were in charge, I'd love to, especially in these inner city schools, I'd like there to be 2 teachers in the classroom, so that you can give special help to the ones who need it. Maybe it's just maybe it's unfeasibly expensive, but that's on the top of my list. That's just something we can't do. Yes.
Sorry, I'm not enjoying this today. Did you have to go through, just following up with what Mike said, did you have to go to like the superintendent and say, gee, our club wants to adopt Lincoln? How did you get started with just this one school, or did you guys
It started with a dictionary project, and we sometimes, like in Scotia School, if you want to donate dictionaries, you have to get board approval. Schenectady doesn't require that. We just have to call the school and ask if we may do it, and we can bring the dictionaries. And then you get to know the principal, you get to know the secretary, and You get to know the teachers, and that's the story of how it all happened. Just getting to meet them.
It's just Lincoln that you guys do, right?
Well, we do 3 schools for the dictionaries, but Lincoln is all we're doing our project in. But General Electric, I think it's the Research Center, or maybe Capitol, I forget which. They've adopted Martin Luther King. They've got like 60 volunteers going there every week. At least last year or the year before they were doing that. I saw a church adopted Keen Academy, and they brought in some other software that is absolutely free because it's written by people down the street here in Stockade. They said, even though they charge for it, said we'll give it to free to Schenectady kids. And they saw spelling results going from failing to getting hundreds by putting in that software. So churches have adopted schools. The community can help. Community can make a difference. Thank you for your questions.
Wow, thank you for a really great presentation. That's such important work that you do. And we know you do a lot, you're all over the world, and it's important for you to stay light on your feet. So therefore, we have to do feather light Rotary. Feel that?
It is nice. It is nice.
Very good, great job.
Where did you get the ink for it?
There's no way you got no way.
It's like a printer. The printer is free, but you got to pay for the ink.